Hi, this is Judy at Judy in the Kitchen. Today I'm going to show you how to make a delicious side dish with spaghetti squash. I'm going to start by roasting my spaghetti squash. You see it's not a very big one here, but that doesn't matter what size it is. The process is the same. First I cut off the stem end, and then I sliced it down from end to end, and now I'm going to remove the seeds, and I've removed the seeds from this half so you can see what it looks like. I'm going to remove the seeds from the other, and then I'm going to coat the entire thing inside and out with extra virgin olive oil. Turn it cut side down on a baking sheet, and I'm going to roast it at 400 degrees Fahrenheit until it is fork tender. Can't tell you how long it'll take because it depends on the size of the squash, and we'll be back when that's done. My spaghetti squash has roasted. It took about 45 minutes, and again, this is a small one. I'm allowing it to cool down, and then I'm going to take a fork and just break off the strands and put it in a bowl and set it aside, and then we're going to go to the stove. Alright, we're at the stove, and I've got my trusty cast iron skillet warming up here. And to that skillet I'm going to add a little bit of extra virgin olive oil. Let it warm up some, swirl it around, make sure it's all over. And to that I'm going to add roughly 1/3 cup of chopped onion. And you know, you can easily adjust the quantity of ingredients you've got here based on the size of your squash. My spaghetti squash is actually a pretty small one, although it made quite a bit when I took the strands out. I've got 3 large cloves of garlic there that I added. And I want to, whoops, there's a big piece of onion. You know what? I think I'm going to leave that in there anyway. It's okay. We're going to saute this just a little bit until it's aromatic and these start to soften up some. Alright, that didn't take long at all. My onions and garlic are getting translucent. Now, what I have here is roughly a cup of some Italian vegetables that I've cut up into bite-sized pieces. These were frozen. I thawed them out and I cut them. And I have some Italian green beans, some cauliflower, some zucchini, and some carrots, and maybe a stray lima bean or two. And I'm going to add that in there. Stir that up just a bit. And then I have 2 diced large Roma tomatoes. I'm going to add those in there as well. And then we do need to season this. And what I have here is a mixture of some herbs. I have 1 teaspoon of dried parsley, 1/2 teaspoon of dried basil, 1/4 teaspoon of dried oregano, 1/4 teaspoon of salt, and about 1/8 teaspoon of black pepper. I'm just going to sprinkle this over this. And again, you might want to adjust your seasoning because you may need a little more depending upon the size of the squash that you have. So what we have are some Italian seasoning here with some Italian vegetables. And this will be a wonderful side dish. You could make it into a main dish by adding a lot of cheese and maybe some beans if you wanted to. I'm not going to add the beans in here right now. Just going to have it like it is. Basically, you don't want to overdo on these vegetables. Now I'm going to add what is a large handful of fresh spinach. And I want to just kind of stir this up a little bit until that spinach starts to wilt. And then I'm going to add my spaghetti squash that I've separated out into strands and add that in there, and it'll be ready to serve. Top it with some Parmesan cheese. If you want some mozzarella on there or some different kind of cheese, that might be good too. Alright, I'll be back in just a moment when the spinach has wilted. As you can see, that spinach has come down a good bit. So I'm going to go ahead and add this spaghetti squash strands, and you can see there's actually quite a bit here out of that little squash that I had. I buy a little one because I'm really just feeding myself and my husband, but this is going to make certainly more than 2 servings. And all you want to do at this point is just stir it together and allow that spaghetti squash to reheat. And here's our finished spaghetti squash with Italian vegetables. Pour some Parmesan cheese on there and it would be yummy. And there you have an easy side dish with spaghetti squash and Italian vegetables. Check out my website, handmadeinoiowa.com, and also my blog, judiclee.com. If you give this a whirl, let me know if it works for you in the comments below. This is Judi at Judi in the Kitchen. Have a great day.